Hello. Ow. Ah. Ugh. Hello. Ugh. Ugh. Sorry. It's been a bit of a day. Had to stretch a bit. How you doing, Wanda? Hmm. Wait. I'm here to stream some Banjo. Ah. Aw, that's unfortunate. Um, you want to talk about it? Ow. If not, that's fine. Ah. Aw. Yeah, that always sucks, unfortunately. Interviews can be shit, honestly. That said, sometimes they will just how do I make this stop showing up? I have no idea how to make that purple thing disappear from the Twitch chat unless I just crop it out. Whatever, I'll sort that out later. I'll sort that out later. Yeah, I'll sort that out later. Yeah. Yeah, I like your new, Slime Wanda character, Wanda. I think she looks adorable. I think she looks adorable. And like, even if you have to make adjustments later, that's fine. Making characters is an iterative process. You can always change things later if you don't like how they turn out. I've done it plenty of times. Like, I have sometimes reworked characters so much that they are completely unrecognizable afterwards, even though it's technically the same character, and like internally it makes sense how we got from A to B, but for someone looking from the outside, it's like doesn't even make sense. Okay, so you want her to be like a point of view character for the audience. Okay. That's trickier. That's trickier. That's definitely trickier. Makes me think of how, like, with video games, often the, hi, Chungo. Makes me think of how, like, with video games, when you're making a new character, well, like, with video games, a lot of times they make the first level last because the first level has to introduce the world to the player. So they need to already know where they're going before they have to already know what the game's going to be like before they even know what to do with it. Yeah. Yeah, making an introduction character is hard. Making an introduction level is hard. Making an introduction anything is hard because you kind of have to already know where you're going to end up in order to make a proper introduction. And if you don't know where your thing is going to be, what your thing is going to be at the end of the day, it can be quite hard. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Heh, get squished into slime. Yeah, what Chungo said about John Romero. Yeah, if the intro is good, it was probably the last level they made, because it has to be, they have to know they had to know what the rest of the game was gonna be like. Like, even Mario 64, the castle was the last level they finished. Yeah. Yeah. Slime Wanda stuff doesn't. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Have them be like the backstory, like, point of view thing, like the thing they like the opening crawl almost. That gets you up to date on what's happening before. Yeah. I'm sure you'll do fine, Wanda. Honestly, a lot of the writing process is just suppressing your own brain goblins who keep telling you that you're shit, even though you're not. Because, if you're good at writing, then you will be your own worst critic. So if you are completely confident in, so if you're, what was I gonna say? If you are completely confident in your writing, then that means you are probably bad at it. I guess is the way to think about that. Anyway, I played this a little bit on. I played this a little bit on Friday. I played about an hour. But I stopped early because I wanted to go hang out with Aspira and friends and play games with them. And I was not about to stream other people without their consent, you know? That would be horrifically inappropriate. Yeah, we had some nice games of Repo after stream, and it was good. We had some fun. The new mechanics are confusing. Well, not confusing per se, but they added a whole new cosmetic system, and they changed up how the shops work, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, but it's also very different from how it was. And apparently also the developer had to like make a video just explaining like one of the mechanics, because nobody's been using it correctly or even knows what it is. Knows that it exists, the tumbling mechanic. Because like nobody ever takes tumble because nobody knows what the fuck it is or how to use it. And so they had to make a video explaining what the hell tumble is and why you'd want to take it. But also they seem to have reduced the rate at which the strength power-ups appear in the shop, because strength is usually the power-up everybody goes for in Repo. But because, you know, it's the best one. It lets you carry heavier stuff. It lets you, like, it lets you actually fight back against enemies by, like, just picking them up and, like, beating the shit out of, and, like, throwing them. Strength is just overpowered in Repo, so that's the power-up everyone goes for. So they made it a rarer drop, it seems like. But yeah. I get it. I understand. Anyway. So, so this is the best level in the entire game. Like, bar none. Like, I don't think anyone would even try to argue. Oh, shit. Okay, I got him. But this is the best level in Banjo-Kazooie, Treasure Trove Cove. Like, most of the levels in this game are good, in my opinion, except, well, I personally don't like the last two. I don't like the level with the boat, and I don't like Click Clock Wood. And actually, I'm not too hot about Clanker's Cavern either. And yeah, a lot of the levels in this game are excellent. It's just I don't like Clanker's Cavern. I don't like the boat level, Rusty Bucket Bay, and I don't like I don't like Rusty Bucket Bay, and I don't like Click Clock Wood. But the main reason I don't like Rusty Bucket Bay and Click Clock Wood is tied specifically due to the fact that this is the N64 version, which is actually why I considered streaming the Xbox version instead, because the problem with the N64 version specifically is that which notes you've collected aren't saved. So every time you re-enter a level, you have to get all the notes again in order to increase your note count. And also every time you die, you lose all your notes, and you have to start over with collecting them. And that's my beef with the N64 version. The Xbox version changed that. The Xbox version changed that so that your notes are saved properly, like they are in like DK64 and in Banjo Tooie. But yeah. Let's kill this hermit crab. Just try it, Shellhead. Yes, good. Is there anything behind the shell? Yes, there's a mumbo token. Eekum Bokum. Eekum Bokum. Come on, have a go. If you think you are enough. Yeah, but I decided to go with the N64 version, even though the Xbox version has some definite quality of life improvements, just because, you gotta respect the N64, my dudes. My lads and lassies. Just standing inside the crab to celebrate. I'm about to die. Not anymore. Yeah, well, the audio going out of sync is only really a problem during cutscenes, which the Xbox version of this game barely has any. It's much more of a problem in Banjo Tooie than in Banjo Kazooie. In Banjo Kazooie, it's barely a problem because there's only like 2 or 3 cutscenes in the whole game. But in Banjo Tooie, it's a huge problem because the cutscenes are... There's a lot more of them, and they're a heck of a lot longer. You know what I mean? They kind of fixed that in the Switch version, but not exactly. What they did in the Switch version is they resynchronized the audio and video during each loading screen. But they still fall out of sync over the course of the cutscene. It's just then they are resynced during the next loading screen. They just added delays to the loading screen to, like, sort of resynchronize them. But it's not perfect, because the cutscenes still run too fast. Yes. It is the N64 under emulation, but it still runs too fast. The cutscenes still run too fast. Like I said, they add delays during the loading transitions. I did check, by the way. I did check. That's what they're doing. So anyway, I was originally planning to stream at 5 today, but I ended up delaying it till 6 because I didn't want to overlap with all, like, the game announcements and stuff. Because, you know, people are watching those. I did not watch the show itself properly. But I have seen a few of the trailers that were shown off. I haven't... I'm probably gonna watch it, like, more properly after the stream's over. But... yeah, there were 2 very specific ones, because I kind of browsed the list when I got up earlier. When I got up for the second time, rather. I'll get into that in a bit. But, yeah, Spyro was one. So there were 2 games that caught my attention, and I was like, oh, this is happening, holy shit. And those were Spyro and Crazy Taxi. Like, okay, neither trailer shows any gameplay, any real gameplay. Like, the Spyro one shows, like, a few seconds of flying gameplay, and that's about it. And the Crazy Taxi one only shows, like, cinematics pretty much, so it's not really anything concrete. But I am still I wouldn't say I'm unconditionally hype for them, but I am, what's the word I'm looking for? I am, cautiously optimistic. I'll put it that way. I'm cautiously optimistic for those two games. That said, I am a little bit concerned because I remember about a little over 2 years ago, there were a bunch of rumors flying around that there was going to be an always online games as a service Crazy Taxi game that was in early development. And I am concerned that this game that they showed off might be that game. If it is, then I at the very least hope that the games as a service part of it can either be ignored or that you can just play it completely offline. Hopefully. Now, the whole point of games as a service is that you can't do that, but I'm hopeful that, this either isn't going to be the games as a service one that was talked about, or that you can play without that. Now, the games as a service stuff, that was only a rumor as far as I'm aware, so it's possible that this is just completely unconnected, or maybe it started as a games as a service project and then they changed their mind partway through. Lots of things are possible here, but yeah, I am cautiously optimistic, but with a huge grain of salt. Another issue with Crazy Taxi though is that it's actually very, very easy to fuck that game up. They have fucked it up before, many times. Because even in the original 1998 Dreamcast version of Crazy Taxi, or was it 99? I don't remember when it came out. Was it 98 or 99? I don't remember. The original version of the original release of Crazy Taxi on the Dreamcast, Crazy Taxi 1, only one of the maps is actually good. The arcade map from the original Crazy Taxi, the one that's from the arcade version of the game, is excellent. The original map, which they call original because it is original to the console version and not because it is the first map, because that would make too much sense. The original map has completely fucked up navigation. So, even in the first game, they kind of fucked it up. And that's not the end of it. Because then, we move on to Crazy Taxi 2, where they decided to overcomplicate the formula. And they made it suck because they added way too much shit to it. Yeah. Well, the map was not the problem. The map is a little bit of a problem. The map is very cluttered. The problem... Hello, Maru. The problem with Crazy Taxi 2 is that... hi, Maru. I'm just talking about my opinions on the some of the trailers from earlier. Like, the problem with Crazy Taxi 2 is that they added a bunch of new mechanics which you need to figure out in order to do anything. Cause you'll be trying just even because they added a mechanic where you can pick up multiple people and take them to different stops. And also the maps are a lot more crowded with barriers and shit, so it's very much like the quote-unquote original map in the first game. And also it's just generally just more of a... It's a lot more difficult to master 2 than 1. They had too much stuff, and it definitely made it more difficult. that's fine for people who wanted more difficulty, but if you kind of just want a vibe, it's not a good match. And then Crazy Taxi 3 is Crazy Taxi 3. I'll put it that way. So, yeah, they've fucked it up before. They are making... Oh, yeah, Maru. They are making a new Crazy Taxi game, which I am cautiously optimistic, but the cautious is important because, like I was saying, they have fucked up Crazy Taxi before. It's a game that requires a very careful balance to get right and is very easy to fuck up. Because they fucked it up before. Fair Wars, if I remember right, for the PSP is just Crazy Taxi and Crazy Taxi 2 glued together and turned into a mobile game. And also it has the it has the new soundtrack that nobody liked. Because, well, with the first Crazy Taxi, the original soundtrack was only used in the Dreamcast, GameCube, and PS2 versions. When it was ported to PC the first time, they gave it a new soundtrack. And then when it was ported to PSP, they gave it another new soundtrack. And then all the later versions, like the XBLA and PS3 and XBLA, PSN, and Steam versions reuse the soundtrack from the PSP version from Fair Wars. They also fucked up the controls in the later versions somehow. I'm not sure how they managed to do that, but they feel like phone controls almost. But yeah, Maru, there is going to be a new Crazy Taxi. I kind of want to try it, but I'm also nervous, partly because about 2 years ago, there were rumors that they were working on a games-as-a-service version of Crazy Taxi, and I do not want to play a games-as-a-service version of Crazy Taxi. Games-as-a-service scares the shit out of me for reasons which I hope are obvious. Because, you know, the game can just disappear one day and there's nothing you can fucking do about it. And also, it means that they're encouraged to add, like, multiplayer components to what should be single-player games. And, like, limited shit. Like, you have 24 hours to do the thing. I don't know if there was a law. Well, there's been the whole, well, there isn't a law yet. There's been a bunch of people... There's been the Stop Killing Games movement, which is trying to encourage developers to not just shut games down. But, there's no law yet, and it's very likely there never will be. Because, convincing, publishers to make pro-consumer moves is like pulling teeth. As I'm sure you're aware. And the other thing that excited me is the new Spyro game that they showed off. They only showed a few seconds of actual gameplay, and it was flight-based gameplay, but it is exciting that they're at least trying that. I don't think they announced which developer is working on it. I would hope that it would be Toys for Bob, because they know what they're doing, but they didn't say who it is. And Toys for Bob has been in Call of Duty jail for years, so it's very likely that it's not them. Yeah. But, you know, maybe it's them. We can find out eventually, maybe. I should probably go get the other move in this level before I start wandering off too far. But yeah, laws don't mean a damn thing, Maru, unfortunately. Like, theoretically they do, but they only mean a thing when, well, you need to convince them to make the law first. And then you need to convince them to enforce the law. And then the, Oh, okay, that's good. Taught that, Toys for Bob got out of COD jail. Finally, we are learning how to fly. But, in order for... Well, first you need... But like I was saying, first you need to actually pass the law, which is its own hard part. You need to pass it without compromising it, because maybe in order to get it through, you need to water it down to the point where it doesn't mean anything in order to, like, make everybody happy. And then you need to actually get it enforced, which is its own can of worms. Because, the law will only be enforced if it's actually, like, convenient for... If it's actually, like, convenient for whoever's currently in charge of whatever to enforce it, for law enforcement or whatever. And then after that, the cost of breaking the law must be higher than the cost of following it. The penalty for breaking the law has to outweigh the cost of following it. So you need all of those things to happen. This guy just keeps burping. I love it. Captain Blubber. I gotta wonder, though, how did he get his ship here? Because, okay, the ocean's over there. This is a puddle. How did you beat your ship this badly, my good sir? My good sir, how did you beat your ship this badly? Like, did you park the ship and then somebody built a sandbar here? How did this happen? But yeah, Toys for Bob... What has Toys for Bob been working on, actually? Because I have not heard anything about them in years.
Eekum Bokum.
Eekum Bokum. Okay. So they are the ones doing Spyro 4. That's great. That's great. They know what they're doing. That is good. That is good. Now... Well... quote-unquote Spyro 4. There have been many Spyro 4s over the years. At some point, I am probably going to play the GameCube/PS2 one just to see how bad it is. Because I've actually never gotten around to playing Enter the Dragonfly. Like... Well, no, I think I rented it once and played it for maybe an hour, but I've never played it properly. You know what I mean? Which might be a good thing, actually. For my own sanity. Right, 513 by 448. How the fuck do you do that? Well, no. I can understand how they would do that. I'm just not sure why they would do that. Because, like, rendering the game at that resolution on a PS2 in 640 mode means the game gets even more aggressively column boxed than it already would be on PS2. Because PS2 games are already column boxed pretty aggressively by nature because no matter which video mode your camera, what are you doing? No matter which video mode you have the PS2 running in, unless it's specifically in DVD player mode, it will only fill the center like 90% of the screen. So you're always going to get those black bars on the left and right sides, no matter what. So they just made the black bars even bigger. Where the fuck do I put this down? There we go. So it only fills the center 80-ish% of the screen instead of the center 90-ish% of the screen. Good job. What was the name of that poor unfortunate studio that made that game? I'm assuming that they wanted to run the console in 512 mode. Ooh, there's a Mumbo token in there. I'm assuming that they wanted to run the PS2 in 512 mode, but the game was just launched in such a ridiculously incomplete state that they didn't have time to figure out how to do that. Or get it ready to do that. That's the only assumption I can make. I could be wrong. That is really funny that it runs at 512, 448. If I do stream it, though, it's probably going to be the GameCube version, I want to say. Or whichever version I can get cheaper. Okay. I know that like I was talking about this during the Spyro 2 stream, but the reason that things happened the way they did is because Universal Studios, the publisher, was like just a shitty publisher to work with. Yeah. Well, the GameCube version of the game, if I recall correctly, has an unlocked frame rate, sort of. It targets 60 FPS, but it has dynamic, like, it has its physics, like, set up dynamically so that even if the frame rate drops, the game doesn't slow down. It's one of those games. So if you run it on an overclocked console, it runs better. Like, the frame rate actually increases to a solid 60 if you run it if you overclock the CPU to like 250% or whatever. But also, like I said, yeah, Nintendo. I don't know if I want to use Nintendo. Nintendo has its own problems, which I'm sure you've heard. I'm sure Chungo has heard Extrems rant about very extensively. And Maru probably has no idea what I'm talking about. But yeah, Nintendo is a GameCube emulator for Wii, which has weird audio problems and like pacing problems for reasons. And yeah, for some reason, it emulates GameCube on Wii rather than just running the Wii in GameCube mode, because there's advantages to doing that, like being able to access the USB ports and stuff. Don't tell Nintendo we know about this. Don't tell Nintendo we know about this stuff. Okay, there we go. I would like to keep my stream, please. But yeah, anyway, in other news, it is still very, well, it has been quite hot recently. So for the last several days, it has been extremely muggy around here, to the point where I have been having to stream naked. Unfortunately. Just for the sake of my own sanity. Thankfully, nobody can see that. Don't worry, Automod that's just listening. Nobody can see. The temperature did finally, like, it was bad, though, because, like... Yeah. Yeah, it was bad, though, because I was... Because, like, Thursday and Friday, I was both, like, very much, like... Well, Friday especially, I was pretty out of it, actually. But, yesterday, I had an eating shift, so I didn't stream, because, I wasn't gonna do that to myself. I ain't about that life. I wasn't gonna stream right after an evening shift. That would be torture. Beat it up, get it. There we go. Yeah. Like, theoretically, the temperature was supposed to be a lot lower yesterday, but it actually got more humid as the day went on, and it was supposedly getting cooler. So it actually just started getting worse, and so it actually just felt worse instead of better just because of the humidity going up. Yeah, it was shit. Actually, when I got up this morning, because, like, I was so exhausted from work last night that, even though I did not have to get up this morning, I just ended up falling shit. I just ended up falling asleep early last night because I was so fucking exhausted. So I went to bed early and I woke up early, and the humidity was so bad this morning too that I was just like, Like, I tried to do things this morning, but it was just awful. So I honestly ended up just going back to bed. It was not good. It was not good. Yeah, it was bad. Oh, as you've probably noticed, that's already been collected. This is my friend's cartridge from when we were kids. So, obviously all the stop and swap items were collected a long time ago. Because the way these games work is that, the way this game works is that once the stop and swap items have been collected on any game file, they are collected on that cartridge forever, even if you delete all the game files. Just because that's how stop and swap worked. Or how it would have if they'd actually finished it. Eekum Bokum. Fronting switch. Okay. Yeah, it's been bad. But yeah, then today around about like shit. Yes, give me health. Yeah, but yeah, then today, finally, around about, like, maybe 4 o'clock, give or take. Ew, his eyeballs started bouncing away. Yeah, today, around about 4 o'clock, maybe, the temperature finally started dropping like a fucking stone. Which, and it started feeling like it was about to rain. It's been feeling like it's about to rain for a while now. It hasn't rained, but it feels like it's been feeling like it's about to for several hours. There we go. There's that jiggy. Let's see here. So there should be 2 more jiggies and 10 more notes. What have I not done yet? Oh, I've not done the sandcastle yet. Oh, it is starting to rain. It's starting to rain. It's starting to rain. Yes. Ooh. Starting to rain, finally.
Eekum, Bokum.
Nope, getting away from that guy. Get away from the shark. Yeah, it's starting to rain fucking finally. Because, like, I don't know, the weather report earlier said that it was gonna start raining, like, midday, but then, like, every time I checked the weather, they kept saying, oh, they kept pushing back the time when it was actually gonna start raining. So it was like, is it ever going to rain? Oh yeah, that ended up just not fucking happening. Anyway. Fuck you, dude. Yeah, it's not been too bad since then, thankfully. Where's that bucket? There he is. Hello. Okay, so what you gotta do with this bucket is you gotta take a shit in it. And that's how you block it up. That classic Rareware British humor. We wouldn't have it any other way. I have flight now. I can just use that to get the notes on top of the sandcastle. Okay, there's 4 more notes somewhere in this game. Somewhere in this level. Okay. Oh, I see them. Do you know how to spell Banjo Kazooie? Where the frig is the letter N? There it is. Very good! Kid for look who looks at the cart. Well, it also just says how to spell it on the wall right here. So, you know, that also helps. Yay, I killed him. Okay, there's one more Jiggy somewhere in this level. Question is, where? It's not in there. There's nothing in there. There's nothing in that mountain with the hole in it. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Did I already get the thing that was around here? I think I did. Yeah, I already did that. Okay. I already did the crab. I already did the hermit crab. There's one more Jiggy somewhere. I think. Trying to remember where it was. Where could it be? Alternately, what looks likely? I already got the thing under there. I do like the flight mechanics in this game, I gotta say. What's that underneath me? Uh-oh. I do like the flight mechanics in this game, but that doesn't mean I'm good at controlling them. Oh, okay, that works. There's no ledge grab in this game, by the way, which is a pain in the butt. They added it in this. Up there's the Jiggy. They added it in the second game. It's like the first. It's one of the first moves they give you in the second game too, just because I think it was so. It was just felt so much like it was missing in this one. Anyway, that's this level done. Oh, nope, nope, nope. Gonna grab that. I need that. Wonder if there's another one of those somewhere. There is another one somewhere. Okay, I guess I'm back on the hunt. It is hidden somewhere. Excuse me. feel like I knew where it was at one point. That doesn't mean I still do, though. It's been a long, very long time since I last played this game. Also, this isn't even my cartridge. It's my friend Scott's cartridge, kind of. Technically, it's not Scott's cartridge either. See, Scott rented this cartridge from a video rental store named Video Update back in the day. And then Video Update stopped carrying N64 cartridges. Am I easily distracted? Scott stopped, Video Update stopped carrying, oh, there's a thing. Not what I'm looking for, but there is a thing. Video Update stopped carrying, N64 cartridges. So they just let him keep it because, they were just gonna get rid of it anyway. So technically it's Video Update's video cartridge that Scott just never returned because they told him, just hold on to it, dude. It actually still has a sticker on it, too. It still has the Video Update rental sticker on it. Who says I'm easily distracted? Who says I'm easily distracted? I am perfectly in control of my faculties. Maybe. I'm just hunting for the last, well, there's a second honeycomb somewhere in this level. I want it. Well, Maru, that's what I've been practicing doing. One of the whole reasons I've been trying to stream, one of the whole reasons I've been streaming was to, get better at yapping. I would not say that I am good at it yet. I've had a lot of, you know, stops and starts and false starts and I keep and you know, bad days, and sometimes the words just don't come out. But you know, I'm working on it. I am working on it. Rome was not built in a day, Mr. Maru-chan, Maru-kun, Maruyama, Sema Senpai-san. Well, uh-oh, I'm out of feathers. Oh no, I'm out of feathers. Okay, well, multitasking and yapping is still a problem, but like, I'm glad to just be able to yap at all, because like, Maru, as you know, I am very much the guy who, yeah, what Tanky said. I gotta get yap experience. Maru, as you know, I am very much the person who, just, lurks in call and says nothing for hours at a time. Like, I was not always this, but I have been this for much of my life, and I am trying to, get better about, yapping. Also, I am trying to figure out how to get rid of the Twitch thing at the top of the Twitch chat. Maru, I've been in your house. Not your current one, but like one of your previous ones. This is N64, Tanky. Also, hi, Tanky. This is N64. This is the original 320 by 240 N64 release. Yes. I was planning to... I was thinking about streaming the Xbox version for the quality of life improvements, but I decided to go for the original pure experience. I'm just wandering around this level trying to figure out where the second of these honeycomb containers is. I know it's somewhere because this level has 2 of them, and I have one of them. I don't know where the other one is. And it's not in there because that's the room that unlocks when you get the stop and swap items, which we got on this cartridge a long time ago. That said, maybe it's close to it. Like, maybe it's behind it. So I'll take that. Yes, Maru, decoy octopus. Okay, you can't even go behind this fucking thing. Okay. I guess I could just, like, swim around and look at the perimeter. As long as I keep moving, I should outrun the shark. Never mind, I do not outrun the shark. I cannot outrun the shark. I cannot outrun the shark. Ugh. Yep. Yep, death was coming. It's gotta be somewhere around here, though, surely. I am on 1 last health. I should not be thinking, but you need to get those in order to... You need to get those honeycomb containers to increase your health. But yeah, an interesting thing about the N64, actually... because this is the N64 version. An interesting thing about the N64 is that it's actually pretty much the only pre-HD game console to have square pixels, or at least for square pixels to be an option for developers. Because it comes down to pixel clock. The shape of the pixels is completely a factor of the pixel clock of a console. So the higher the pixel clock is, a lower pixel clock results in pixels being like wider than they are tall. The closest you're getting to square pixels, yeah. A lower pixel clock results in pixels being wider than they are tall, and a higher pixel clock results in them being taller than they are wide. And most consoles, derived their pixel clock in such a way that was just mathematically convenient for, like, the circuitry. So, like, in the old days, like, most consoles before the N64, the pixel clock is a function of the chroma carrier frequency. They, like, just multiplied the chroma carrier frequency by a fraction in order to get the pixel clock. And then most consoles after the N64, they just used the 13.5 megahertz pixel clock that was used by DVDs, as well as BT565. Because that was the standard then. Technically the standard is older than that, but it took a while for companies to actually start using it. But the N64, they actually made an effort to make the pixels square. Sort of. If it's running in 640 by 480 mode or 320 by 240 mode, then the pixels are square. Well, I say mode. The N64 doesn't really have modes. Technically, it's always either running at either 640 by 480 or 640 by 240. But most developers, what they did is they ran it in 640 by 240 mode, and then they set it so that they set it to 640 by 240 mode, 240p mode, and then they just made it so that, and then they just stretched the image out to double width horizontally before sending it out to the TV. So they rendered it 320 by 240, and then they like just double and then they just stretch it 2x horizontally. So that's how that works, and that is actually very, very close to 640 by 240. Like, that's very close to square pixels. Like, it's within a couple percentage points of square pixels. Very, very close to a couple of percentage points to within square pixels, because Okay, hold on. Cause, ow, 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 ow. Sorry, I need to stretch a little bit. Ow. Okay, that's better. Cause, okay. Because, okay. Because, okay. The thing about pixel clock, like I said, so the N64's pixel clock is such in its 640 wide mode, or 640 by 40, 640 by 240. We're gonna go with the 640 by 240 mode because that's what almost everything does. It actually runs it at such a frequency that it ends up being that the total width. So, okay. So, the total structure of a video line, you've got so you've got your H-Sync pulse, and the N64 was actually, like, pretty much the first console that had an on-spec H-Sync frequency. So, from here to here is... from here to here is actually exactly 63 and 1/3 microseconds. Like, the N64 is pretty much the first console that actually gets that right. Pretty much every other console, it's either like it's a little bit more or a little bit less, because for the sake of making the clocks simpler, they made it whatever. For the sake of making the electronics significantly simpler, they basically made everything a multiple of the chroma carrier clock, because that meant that they could get away with using only a single high precision oscillator for the entire video subsystem, as opposed to having to use multiple. And that was actually a big cost savings, because if you have multiple oscillators, sorry, if you have multiple oscillators, then those rapidly increase the cost of these things until they actually finally started to get cheaper. Not only that, but the cheapest oscillators you could get were the ones that ran at the chroma carrier frequency, which the chroma carrier frequency is, if I recall correctly, 315 over 88 megahertz. It's exactly this frequency. So if you look at any game console made before, say, 1998, pretty much, every single piece of the video subsystem will run at a frequency that is derived from this frequency. So the pixel clock will be this frequency multiplied by something. The H-Sync frequency will be this frequency multiplied by something. the video clock the video clock itself will be this frequency multiplied by something. Often the CPU clock will be this frequency multiplied by something, because oscillators were expensive. Oscillators which ran at the chroma carrier frequency were significantly cheaper than any other oscillator. If they bought just one oscillator and it was this, and then they just used multipliers and dividers to create the rest of the frequencies, then that was a huge cost savings all around. I think the only exception to that would be the SNES. The Super Nintendo, they actually did have a second oscillator which ran at approximately 32 kilohertz, but it was a much lower precision oscillator. Like, they used a really, really cheap one. And it was actually so cheap, the ones that they used for and this was used for the sound clock, so I guess they figured they could get away with a lower precision one. But the thing is, the one they used in the SNES was so freaking cheap that they've actually started to drift over time. So the modern, it's gotten bad. It's gotten to the point where if you buy a Super Nintendo now, like an old one, their audio clock will have drifted so much that it's actually starting to break games a little bit. Like, I don't think it's actually, broken any of them, but the timings are noticeably off. And, the pitches of notes have started to become noticeably off just because their audio oscillators were cheap. I don't even think they used a proper crystal oscillator. I think they used something cheaper. And it's been going to shit as a result. But on the N64, as far as I'm aware, everything is also derived from this, 315 over 88 megahertz clock. I think they just have the one crystal, but it's a different frequency depending on which region it is, which means that everything ends up running at slightly different frequencies. Okay, so it affects speedrunning, but not normal gameplay. Fair enough. Anyway, the N64... The N64's pixel clock... Thanks. Yeah, that makes sense. The N64's pixel clock is such that the number of pixels, the number of samples which make up the total length of this line, this 63 1/3 microsecond line, ends up being 700 and... What was it? I remembered this a second ago. Hold on, my brain is breaking. Sorry, I gotta look this up. Sorry, I just have to look this up. I knew this a few minutes ago. I knew this when I started talking and I forgot. Yes. Okay. So this ends up being... Ah, crap, I forgot to keep that. Right. Yes, this ends up being... Heck. $773.5 samples per line, if you do the math. But of course, it actually ends up being now obviously you can't actually have half a sample per line, so the video clock's actually running at double this. So it ends up being 1547 or something, and then there's a divider, I guess, to get the actual, to actually get this. I don't know the details of exactly how it's generating these clocks, but I know that it's based on that. But the actual active area, like the actual area that can actually have pixels in it, that can actually have like pixels drawn to it, is only 640 pixels wide. Now, if you contrast this with the pixel clock used by, say, DVDs and the BT656 standard, it ends up being, if you take this 640, basically you just do 640 over 773.5, you end up with the active area being approximately 0.8274. That's probably off the screen, sorry. It ends up being approximately 0.8274 of the total width of the line, which is pretty close to how much of the image would actually be visible. Because if you look at it on the because if you compare that to the DVD specification, which or it's technically BT656 or whatever, that does 858 samples line. And if you actually look at this and then compare it against this, you end up with 640 pixels on the N64 being equivalent to approximately 709.9 pixels in the BT565 standard, which is very, very, very close to what the active area ends up being in a 4:3 image. A 4:3 image is somewhere between 702 and 716 pixels wide. I can't tell you exactly how wide it is because nobody can agree on how wide it is. Nobody can actually agree on how wide a 4:3 image is. It's between 52 and 53 microseconds wide. I can't tell you exactly where it is, but it's somewhere between those two numbers. Because nobody can agree. I've seen 52 microseconds. I've seen 700, which is 702 pixels. I've seen 704 pixels, which is slightly wider than 52 microseconds. I've seen 708 pixels, which is just shy of 52 and a half microseconds. I've seen 712 pixels, which is an approximation of 711 pixels, because 711 pixels gives you a par of 9/10. And also 704 is a par of 1011. So 910 and 1011 are both mathematically convenient to calculate, which is why those are popular. So that's where you get, and that's where you get 704 and 712 from. 708 comes from SMPT 187 1995, which is basically a compromise between those two numbers, and is also 52 and a half microseconds, almost exactly. Not quite, but almost exactly. It's 708 pixels in the DVD spec, and 716 is just like the theoretical maximum of this is how much you can draw without violating specification. But yeah, N64 ends up being the equivalent of roughly 710. The 640 pixels on N64 winds up being the same as 710 pixels in BT565. So that's extremely close to being 4-3. Like, almost exactly 4-3. And as for how N64 gets from... Well, technically the N64... you do not have to exactly double it from 320 to 640. Technically, on N64, you can do whatever arbitrary scaling factor you want. It's just that it uses linear interpolation for that. It's just that it uses linear interpolation to do that. So any scaling factor besides exactly 2x is going to look like a blurry mess. So it's not a good idea to use it, unless you really know what you're doing. And even then, it's probably not a good idea to use it. Anyway, that's all I had to say about that, for now. I will probably give a more detailed breakdown another time. But it's kind of out of scope for this conversation specifically. That said, I'm gonna BRB for 1 second. I will be back in just a moment. I am back. So yeah, the N64's image width is very, very, very close to being 52.5 microseconds wide. It's only just barely over that. So, yeah, N64 is very, very good about that. N64 is very close to square pixels. What was I doing? I forgot what That's right, I forgot. I was looking for that honeycomb container. There's one more honeycomb container in this level. I don't know where it is. Well, it should be somewhere very obvious. Because, like, one of them was just, like sitting offshore, like, underwater. I wouldn't be surprised if they both... Oh, shit. Okay, I'm free. I'm safe. Ah. But yeah, the N64 having square pixels, well, lots of developers treated consoles as having square pixels regardless of what shape their pixels actually were, but the N64 was the one console where they were actually square, like on a 2-specification television. So, you know, that's pretty cool, in my opinion. I wonder if bottles here will give me a health refill. Okay, I already have health. Somehow. When did I get health back? Whatever. Also, I'm not even sure if I want to go for a 100% run or not. Like, in the early game, it's easy, but once you get to Rusty Bucket Bay and Click Clock Wood, it gets really hard to do that, because both of those levels have areas where it's very easy. Well, Rusty Bucket Bay has areas where it's very, very easy to die, and therefore reset your note count. And Click Clock Wood has you going through the same level 4 times. And precariously placed collectibles. Which, since death resets some of your collectibles, is a thing in this game. And that's why I was thinking about the Xbox version. Because if I did want to do it a 100% run, the Xbox version would be orders of magnitude easier. Because of that. But, yeah, I don't know. That said, getting more health is still a very good thing. So, I do still kind of want to look for that last thing. It's just, I have no idea where the fuck it is. I don't know, would it be inappropriate for me to ask for a hint of where it is? I feel like it would be, but you know, I'm thinking about it. There is a mountaintop. There was stuff up there. I collected everything that I saw up there, but I guess I can check up there again. I'll check up there, and then if I don't see it, I will ask Miss Tanky to look it up. Because, like, there's challenge, and then there's just, like, I don't know. And no, it's not in the stop and swap room. That wouldn't make any sense. That's fine. Not everyone needs to be knowledgeable about every game. I know you're more of a PlayStation than a Nintendo. Chungo. But you know, Spyro and Banjo are Spyro and Banjo were very much two of a kind, so to speak. If you were on Nintendo, then you played Banjo, and if you were on Sony, you played Spyro. They were very much the same kind of game, and they were both excellent. It's like how it's like comparing Diddy Kong Racing with Crash Team Racing. Different console, both good, both very similar games. And if you had both growing up, you were the coolest kid on the block. This is Tanky. This is I'm a fake Treasure Trove Cove. I'm a fake fan who can't even remember the name of the level I'm playing, which is the best level in the game. I am looking for the other honeycomb piece. Because there's two of them in this level. They're usually a little bit better hidden than the actual objectives because they are how you get health upgrades. They are how you get health upgrades. Yes, this is an excellent level. I do like it. It's one of my favorite levels in this game. And I will be sad to say goodbye to it once I have collected the last item from it. I just barely missed the water, damn. Watch it be somewhere stupid, like inside the fucking ship. Let's see here. I found one on the coast. I found one, like, off the coast in the underwater. Sounds like they're both underwater, though. Inside an ocean crate, you say? So, like, we have to break a crate. I don't even know if you can break crates in this level. I don't think you can. The top right? If you want to. Heck, no! Nipper, no! If you want to toss me a map, feel free. Sorry, I don't normally like being backseated, but I am actually kind of rather confused here. Ack. Let's see, what have I been sent? Okay. Oh, that's way out there. Okay. That's like way, way, way out there. That's what you meant by top right. Because a map like this does not exist in the game. I see where you mean now. It's way the fuck out there. I didn't even know there was anything out there. Oh shit, Nipper. Nipper, no! Nipper, no! Ah, I died. Well, I mean, it's fine because I've collected everything that like doesn't that resets. So now I guess I can just go over there and grab the thing and get out. That's fine. Yep, there it is. I didn't even see this crate. You can't even see this crate from the shore. Anyway, there it is. That's everything in this level. I'm getting out of here. Thank you so much, Tanky. That's silly. Yep. And now to say goodbye to the best level in the game. We will never be back here again. Fuck you. But yeah, Tanky, do you want to know another cool thing about the N64? This is one of the N64 is pretty much the only console of its generation where you could get, well, not real true color graphics, but very close to true color graphics. Because, like, the PS1 was limited to, like, 15-bit color. The Saturn was weird in that different video chips had different color, in that it had multiple video chips and they had different color depths, and it was all weird and fucked up and strange. But the N64 had... Heck, no, don't eat me. I'm just trying to get feathers. The N64, well, most games did render in 15-bit color, same as the PS1. The N64 had like, you could render in true color, but it was like... But it wasn't actually a good idea. What N64's games actually did instead was they did run in, well, 15-ish bit color. It was actually like this weird, like, 18-bit color thing. What was that over there? And the N64 did run in an 18-bit, did have an 18-bit frame buffer mode, which most games used, with 15 bits used for color, and then 3 bits used for, and, oh, hello. My fat old sister's favorite sport is broomstick racing. That sounds fun. Yeah, so the N64 I cannot use boots yet. So most N64 games, they actually did still render with 15 bits of color. They used an 18-bit frame buffer, but only 15 bits of those were color. The other three were for the other 3 bits were for coverage information, which was used for anti-aliasing. Because the N64 is doing anti-aliasing. I don't know if this game specifically is doing it, but the N64 did support anti-aliasing. It actually looks like this game might have it turned off. It's kind of hard to tell. No, it might have it. Yeah, no, it does have anti-aliasing in places. It looks like only parts of the screen have it, which is not unusual for N64, actually, because of how it works. But the N64 renders with 15-bit color, but then it uses a post-processing effect to convert the 15-bit color to 21-bit color in order to like smooth out the dithering, get rid of the dithering, smooth out the dithering, and like fix up those graphics, like smooth out those graphics a little bit. What it does is it basically just has a convolution filter, except that it basically uses like a 3x3 convolution grid, except that instead of just applying it uniformly to everything, it uses like an edge detection thing to decide which pixels are used. So like if it detects that the other nearby pixels are the same color, it will blur them together in order to get rid of the dithering. But if it detects that they're not the same color, it omits them from the blur in order to like preserve edges. So you get most of the benefits of higher bit depth color, but while only using 15-bit color in the back end. So it does save some resources. Hello. Oh, I thought you were an NPC. Oops. My mistake. Now, that said, that filter does consume resources, so some people will mod their games to turn it off. And it gives you like a couple extra frames per second. There's also anti-aliasing. Some modders will also turn that off, either because it improves frame rate or because they just don't like how it looks. Because the N64's anti-aliasing, it is real anti-aliasing. It is almost MSAA. It's almost MSAA. Not exactly, but very similar to it. But at the very low resolutions that the N64 runs at, it can make the games almost look blurry a little bit. So a lot of people don't like it. And also, some games just don't... And also, some games also just turn both anti-aliasing and the de-dither filter off. Yeah. Some N64 games did turn the filters off, both the de-dither filter and the anti-aliasing filter, in order to improve performance. The only one that I can think of off the top of my head, though, would be F-Zero X. Like, that game turned off both filters in order to improve performance. Hello. Now that said, a lot of people think that N64 games have dithering, that every N64 game has dithering, when they actually don't. And there is a reason for that. And the reason for that is, well, there's two reasons for that. There's two reasons why people think that N64 games are ditherfests when they're actually not. Reason one is they're using composite cables with an HD TV, and there is this problem with using N64 composite with an HD TV, which is that the N64's VSync frequency fucks with the comb filter and results in your game being rendered, well, results in the composite artifacts being displayed without being filtered out. The other reason it can potentially happen is because the other thing that could potentially cause it is if you're using S-video cables, but your S-video cables are shit. Because low-quality S-video cables, either because they are just poorly made or straight up incorrectly made, will essentially just be the same quality as composite. But in addition to being the same quality as composite, they do not properly your TV thinks it's getting S-video and therefore does not perform the filtering that it would normally perform on composite.
Eekum, Bokum.
Like, gold-plated doesn't mean a damn thing. Gold-plated does not mean a damn thing, okay? Gold plating is cheaper than making your cables properly, because if you want to properly avoid crosstalk in an S-video cable, if you have crosstalk in an S-video cable, then your S-video cable may as well just be a composite cable. In fact, it'll be worse than a composite cable. A bad S-video cable will be worse than a composite cable, because a low-quality S-video cable is worse than a composite cable, because not only are you getting composite signal over it, because it's shit, but oh gosh, not only is it shit, but your TV doesn't know that it's getting shit. Your TV thinks that it's getting high-quality S-video, so your TV isn't going to do any filtering, because it thinks it's getting a high-quality signal. So, you actually get the unfiltered garbage composite that looks like shit. And, yeah, it looks like shit. In fact, I think I can even show you what that looks like. Hold on. Actually, no, I can't. I got rid of those cables. Or did I? Yeah, I got rid of those cables. But, hello, Icky. But, okay. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. So, when you have S-video, you have two signals. Like, S-video is essentially the same as CVBS composite, except that Luma and Chroma are separated. So you have your sync plus Luma signal, and then you have your Chroma signal. And they are set separately. If you want to make composite, all you do is you just add these together and you get composite. It's that simple. But your color signal on composite and S-video, this is a wave. This is a wave. So you have your color burst signal, which this is literally just a phase plus amplitude reference for the color for the modulated color signal. And then, in order to store two colors in a single signal, they do what's called quadrature modulation. So there's two ways to think of quadrature modulation. Either it's two amplitude modulated signals, which are 90 degrees out of phase. So you have your, essentially your PB and your PR signals, and they're both amplitude modulated. Like, so this one's like, and then that, let's say that's your PB signal, and then your PR signal is just 90 degrees offset, and then you just add these together, and that gives you your chroma signal. The other way to think of it, and basically whenever you're measuring, basically this one you've got peak, valley, peak, valley, peak, valley. And then this one, they're 90 degrees off, so it's peak, valley, peak, valley. So you're basically, so if you're thinking of it this way, as them being 90 degrees offset, then you're basically got it so you can sample your PB signal every other, if you sample it 4 times the chroma carrier frequency, so boop, 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 essentially. If you're sampling it 4 times the chroma carrier frequency, then every time one of these signals is having a peak or a valley, which is where you can actually measure it, the other signal is going to be in the middle between those two states, in which case it's going to be 0, so it won't interfere with the other signal. How you doing, Eekum? I'm describing how chroma encoding works. So in that case, if you just sample at 4 times the chroma carrier frequency, and you have the phases properly lined up, which you do need to reference your phase reference to do that, then you essentially just get your color information at half of the frequency that you're sampling at, which is double the wave, which is double the modulation frequency. So yeah, so since your chroma modulation frequency for NTSC is approximately 3.58 megahertz, it's actually 315 over 88 megahertz, which is approximately 3.58. You get it at you get chroma at a little over, at like 7-ish megahertz. Well, a sample rate of 7-ish megahertz. The actual bandwidth is still 3.58 megahertz for either one of them. Although that said, you're also supposed to, for broadcast, you're technically supposed to band limit the U and V, PB and PR channels to like half this frequency, to like 1.3-ish megahertz before modulating them. But that's only necessary for broadcast. For baseband stuff like game consoles, nobody gives a shit. You can do whatever you want. So that's one way to think of it. The other way to think of it is that you have a single modulated signal where the phase, that is the position of the wave peak or wave trough relative to the reference, represents your Q, and then the amplitude, that is the distance between the peaks and the troughs, represents your saturation. So you can think of this as either a YUV system, where you have two color channels that represent, like one represents red versus green and the other represents yellow versus blue, for instance. Or you can think of it as a as a Luma saturation hue system, which is there's probably a better name for it. There's probably a proper name for it, but I'm just going to say YSH, Luma saturation hue. Both interpretations are mathematically equivalent and interchangeable, and you can encode with one and decode with the other. You can also think of it using either one and you'll be correct. Both are interchangeable. Both are correct. Both are also wrong. I'm simplifying the shit out of this, but yes. Anyway, so you've got your what was I talking about? I was talking about why S video cables can be shit. Okay, that's right. Sorry, I completely forgot what I was rambling about. So you've got this, you've got all this shit. You've got your sine wave, not exactly a sine wave, but basically a sine wave that gets more intense the more saturated your colors are. You have a sine wave that gets more intense the more saturated your colors are, and it's on this cable. And then you've got your luminance channel, which is on this cable, which is on the other cable. If your cables are properly shielded from each other, this is not a problem. If your cables are properly insulated from each other, like you have actual shielding in between the cables, you have proper shielding in between the cables, then this is not a problem. But what if there is no shielding? What if they just use like shitty twisted pair shit and signals can like freely pass through this? Well, then you get your shitty sine wave interfering with the luminance channel. And that looks bad, because then you essentially end up with just composite video on the luminance channel. Now, interestingly enough, luminance does not usually crosstalk back into the chrominance channel. Usually it's just the chrominance crossing over into the luminance channel. And the reason for that is because most of the time, when there is that sort of like crosstalk, it's only at high frequencies. And the luminance channel usually only has high frequencies for very brief moments. Like, only when you have like a sudden change in brightness, you will have a very short burst of high frequency information. So that'll cross over. But whenever the luminance channel is constant, there's no high frequency information there. So therefore there's nothing to cross back over into the chroma channel. This is 3.5 megahertz, 3.58 megahertz in NTSC, 4.43 in PAL. So this is very high frequency, so it'll pass right through shielding a lot of the time. So you get your shit, and this looks a lot like dithering. This looks a lot like dithering. It doesn't look exactly like dithering, but it looks a lot like dithering. The only way to tell whether what you're seeing is dithering or is just crosstalk noise is if either A, you know what the game is supposed to look like, or B, you check whether this pattern lines up with where the pixels edges are on the console. And you should know, most N64 games smooth away their dither, so you can't see it. So it's, unless it's F0X, it's not dither. I'll say that. Unless it's F0X, it's not dither. So you definitely have this shit. And then there's the other problem, which is if you're just using composite cables, which is normal. If you have a modern HD TV, they don't even have S-video inputs anymore. They only have composite cables. So you've got your composite signal. Then you got the color bird. You got your composite signal. So this has both luma and chroma in it. And usually, your TV will apply a comb filter to it, which is supposed to basically, it takes advantage of the fact that this high frequency color information is alternating every line and every frame. On a normal signal, this will alternate every line and on every frame. So the next line, on the next line, that's not what I meant to do. So on the next line, this color information is actually going to be, like, inverted. The luminance information will be roughly the same. So it's actually going to be like... So it's actually not going to be like this. It's actually going to be like... It's actually going to be like... Roughly like... So it's going to be like... And then it's going to be like... The luminance data will be roughly the same, but the color will be inverted. The color wave will be inverted. And you can take advantage of that to cancel out the color information. And also the same line on the previous frame would have also been inverted. So you can also use information from the previous frame to also cancel this out. So where does this go wrong? Where this goes wrong is that televisions, modern HD TVs with 3D comb filters, expect there to be 525 lines every 2 frames. So that is, each frame is going to be 262 and a half lines. That's what televisions expect. That's what HD TVs expect. And they hard code their values based on these numbers. Because why wouldn't they? Because that's what every on-spec signal is, right? Right? Game consoles don't give a shit. Game consoles don't give a shit what this spec is, what this specification says. A game console will have whatever number of lines it wants, 262, 263, hell, you can even have 261 or 264 probably. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, the Atari is 261 or some shit. The N64, it's 263 lines per frame. 240, up to 240 of which can actually have picture on them, but it's 263 total, because the rest, that's your vertical blanking interval, which is where you have VSync stuff. Because, like, okay, your signal has both horizontal and vertical stuff in it. That's where the synchronization pulses are. That's where metadata is. Like, TV stations would put, like, subtitles and, like, the programming schedule and the time of day in these blocks that you can't see, that don't have picture in them. So, like, or even information like whether you're currently watching television or an advertisement, which then if you had a DVR, your DVR would just automatically skip the advertisements because they were properly flagged in the vertical blanking signal. So N64 is 263 lines per frame. So your television doesn't like that. And it assumes that this is a malformed signal, because it kind of is. So it treats that. So it will convert that. It will convert pairs of fields into a 526i signal instead of the 263p signal that it actually is. And when it does that, it is going to, once again, rely on its hard-coded assumption that the same line in the previous frame, which, because of what it's doing, it is looking 2 frames ago, because it's treating it as an interlace signal. It's assuming that the frame from 2 fields ago, the same point from 2 fields ago, has the same color. Has the inverted chroma. And the comb filter is like, oh, I'm going to combine this and this. And if it were correct, then it would be, yeah, it would work. It would cancel these out and you'd get a line. But it's not. Because it's treating it as 526i, it ends up with the same thing twice. And those, when combined, you still get the artifact. So, yeah, your comb filter don't fucking work on these non-standard field rates. Unless you specifically program your comb filter to recognize when it's fucking up and not do that. Or to be able to recognize the actual, which lines are actually inverted from each other. Which, they're not going to do. Like, the RetroTink 4K's comb filter does that, but that's because it's specifically designed with this shit in mind. And I am using a RetroTink 4K, by the way. It was specifically designed to handle game console weirdness. The one that's in your HD TV does not know what it's doing. And that's what I have to say about that. And that is why, when it comes to retro gaming televisions, a 2D comb filter is actually better than a 3D comb filter most of the time. Because it will actually not run into this problem. Anyway. That's my rant about that. Sorry about that. Sorry if I lost anybody. I get angry about stupid bullshit sometimes. I think I lost Eekum. I think he got bored. I am not sponsored by RetroTink, by the way. Well, okay. Mike Chi, the owner of RetroTink, occasionally sends me shit, but he did not ask me to advertise it for him. He just sends me things sometimes, and I don't know why. And I'm rather concerned about it, honestly. Anyway, back to Banjo. I don't remember what I was doing, by the way. I'm competing with the My Life in Gaming Bullet Witch series dream. Oh god, Bullet Witch. Maru got me that game once, actually. Maru got me Bullet Witch one time. I don't think I finished it. I think I got like 3/4 of the way through it, No, I was on the last level and it kept crashing. It kept crashing on me. It was really annoying, actually. Like, I didn't dislike the game or anything, it's just it kept fucking crashing. I'll buy it again, too. Is this a threat, Maru? Like, it's not like, you don't have to buy it for me again, I still own it. Ugh. It's not like Drake of the 99 Dragons where it doesn't run at all, it's just that it keeps crashing. Right, Arcana Heart. I'm still remembering when I bought Arcana Heart at GameStop, and the guy running the place was like, he was actually happy to get it out of there because he said it had been taking up space for like years and he just wanted it out of there. So he was actually relieved when somebody finally bought it. But yes, I am distracted sometimes, and you know what? Being distracted is okay. Even with a PC comparable to a Series X that like to run at sub 30 FPS, I am not surprised that Bullet Witch ran like shit. I think it ran better on mine, but the thing about Bullet Witch is it looks like a PS2 game in the weirdest way. Like, yes, it has high-resolution assets, like it has HD quality assets, but the lighting model is PS2 generation. You know what I mean? Maru, I'm not sure how you would get me a game again that I already have. Ugh. You'll find a way. Maybe I should actually play Bloodstained sometime. That is apparently a very good Metroidvania. Well, it chugs hard. Okay. I don't remember it chugging, but I do remember it crashing. A lot. Maru, you just have, there's nothing wrong with liking things that are different from the mainstream. Oh hey, it's Tip Top. The character who kept appearing as a background character in Rareware games as if he was eventually going to become a main character, and then he never did. There's nothing wrong with liking games that are different from the mainstream. Oh, right, I need to actually pay attention. I'm gonna take that. Okay. Purple, blue, yellow. Okay. Right, this mini game, as Simon says, I can't be distracted for this. So the thing is, Tanky, is I'm not sure if those are... if blue, purple, blue, red? Is that what that was? Was there another one? I don't remember. Nope. So the thing about that, Tanky, is I'm not sure if so because the retro tinks that I have, the 4K Pro and the 4K well, my 4K Pro I'm not getting rid of, no. The 4K CE, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to give that away, because that was also just sent to me. I didn't buy it. So I don't know if I can give that away. Blue, purple, light blue, red, purple again. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Why did I do that? What? Blue, purple, light blue, red, purple. Did I? Okay. I must have forgotten what I was doing. Okay. One more round of Simon Says. Red, purple, purple, blue, yellow, light blue, purple. Oh god. Another problem with the another thing about the PS3 though is that its component output is really blurry for some reason. Okay, I'm gonna make some notes. Red, purple, blue, yellow. Okay. I think I got this. Which blue was it? I think it was light blue. It was pink. Okay! I did it! By making notes. Haha! I am not, in fact, cooked! I was just mostly cooked. Yeah. But yeah, problem with the PS3 is that its component output is actually really blurry for some reason. Like, it's actually blurrier than there's a weird horizontal blur applied to the PS3's analog output for some reason. Like, it's not there on, like, it's blurrier than the PS2 for some reason. Because the PS2 actually has a really sharp analog output. Like, a ridiculously sharp analog. A ridiculously sharp, the PS2 has a ridiculously sharp analog video output, but the PS3's is really blurry, and I don't think anyone knows why. It's just sort of is. Yeah, but those are choices made by the developer, Chungo. That's not inherent to the hardware. Those are developer choices. Yeah. The PS3 would not work without the Cell engine. Okay, I need the crocodile for this. All PS3's not emotion engine, right? Yeah. Yeah, because I was thinking, no, the Cell engine is the PS3 CPU. It wouldn't work without that. You meant the emotion engine. That makes more sense. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, I misjudged that jump, but thankfully I didn't die.
Eekum, Bokum.
Okay. What do they use a cheap analog? And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they just cheaped out on the analog chip for the PS3 just because it wasn't the main output anymore. That does sound like something Sony would do. Or maybe it was a deliberate attempt to patch the analog hole because they were worried about Blu-ray copying. Because remember, that was a thing. Like, deliberately making the analog output worse so that people couldn't copy Blu-rays. Because the PS3 was also a Blu-ray player. Well, not so they couldn't copy Blu-rays, but so the copies of the Blu-rays would look like shit. Look. I am on 1 health. This is very dangerous. Because this game does have a pretty strong penalty for death unless you've got all 100 notes, in which case there is no penalty for death. The more notes you have without having... This is Banjo Kazooie 1, yes. The N64 version specifically. The more notes you have in a level without having all 100, the higher the penalty is for death. Yes, this is the one where if you get a game over, oh shit. Yes, this is the one where if you get a game over or you save and quit, you get that ending. Yes. Because we have to rescue our sister from Gruntilda before Gruntilda sucks all her youth and beauty out. In order to, let's see here. Do we want to assume that that's what Grunty looked like when she was younger, or did she, like, get some additional buffs from doing that? Only 10 seconds, what the hell? Ugh. Because, like, there used to be a bunch of myths, actually, about witches, like, draining the youth out of children, actually, to make themselves young again. Porque no los dos, yeah. God damn it. Bit of both. Yeah, I guess that would make sense. Chungo. Ack! Okay, I've got plenty. I've got plenty of Mumbo tokens. As I should, because there wasn't any Mumbo in the last level. This is true. This is true. It's like that one, now I'm just reminded of that one, Worthy Kids animation. Yes, I got another health up. Now I'm just reminded of that one Worthy Kids animation where it's just like a witch talking about how she needs kids to give her blood so that she can look good for her date because she she used her she used old photos on the dating site. And the other witches accused her of catfishing or whatever. Yes, now I have a bite attack and I can walk in the swamp without getting hurt. This is good. I am slow though, because I'm small. Did I already get all the notes? I think I did. I'm grabbing it. I can't use the gold feathers yet, though. The ability to get that, to use those, isn't until Clanker's Cavern, I think. Oh, no fall damage is the crocodile. Nice. Anyway, now I can roam around and grab all the stuff that was in the swamp. Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Ack. I will go inside the giant crocodile a little bit later. There's a few other things I want to grab first. A little bit. So what the gold feathers do is they let you use invincibility power up as long as you have gold feathers. You burn through them pretty quickly though, and you can't hold very many of them.
Eekum, Bokum.
The invincibility power-up is useful in a few areas, but you can't really do anything while you're using it, so... You know, YMMV. Your mileage may vary. It's useful in certain niche circumstances. But, yeah, while you're using it, all you can really do is either stand there or walk very slowly. Ugh. Yeah. Was there anything over here? I don't remember. I think I might have gotten everything over here already. Yeah. I haven't done that yet, but I can only do that as Banjo. Is there anything back here? They only respawn when you either die or leave the level and come back in. Most items in this game work that way. They only respawn when they only respawn when you do. Enemies don't respawn in this one either. They do. Enemies respawn in the sequel in Banjo-Tooie, but they don't respawn in this game until you leave and come back.
Eekum, Bokum.
This minigame. I'll play your game. Nom 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 nom. I can feel the frame rate chugging a little bit in this minigame. That's a long timer. I think there's multiple rounds of this minigame, too. Eat reds, avoid yellows. They don't even look like the same creature. Like, the yellow ones look like snakes. There we go. Okay, so now I need to alternate between red and yellow depending on what's being shown. So right now I want to eat the red ones. Now the yellow ones. Now red ones. Now yellow. There we go. I remember that being a lot harder. Yeah, I'm okay with just running away after with what I got. I got what I came for. I got the prize that's actually worth something. Extra lives are not actually worth that much in this game. Like, in the sequel, they straight up, like, got rid of extra lives because they realized that they didn't do anything useful. Like, they don't make sense in a game with a save system like this. I think I've done everything I need to do with the crocodile, question mark? Well, no, there's gonna be one more thing I'll have to do with it, but not until after I finish the yeah. 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 I'll come back for the crocodile once I'm done with the world, Mumbo. Because there's every stage that has a... Oh, what's that behind his chair?
Eekum, Bokum.
Eekum, Bokum. Yeah, every stage that has a every stage that has a Mumbo transformation in it has an extra thing you can do with the Mumbo transformation after leaving the stage. Like an extra hidden thing outside. Eekum Bokum. Ow. Yeah, I got that. I got that. There's a couple more things I need to get in this stage. I think there's a whole section I haven't been to yet, actually. Yeah. Yeah. There it is. 45 seconds. There we go. And now I can clean up the notes. Now that I'm no longer on a time limit. Also grab you. Nice. Another Mumbo token over there.
Eekum, Bokum.
And the last 3 notes. Okay, that's a big load off my back. I think I just have the last Jiggy here, but let me double check. Okay, yep. I have everything but the Jiggy that I guess these guys are selling. Okay, now I gotta go back up there. Now, I've said this before, I think, but while I do prefer the sequel to this game, I do think that this is a tighter game and probably a better and more focused game. Like, this is better, but I like this. Tui does have some nice quality of life upgrades, though, over the original. Like, one big problem with this game, well, actually no, there's stuff that goes both ways, honestly. Tui having less, where did it show that golden gator spawning? So, in Banjo-Tooie, there's only 17 musical notes per world, rather than 100. And they do that because they're worth different amounts, like some are worth 5 and some are worth 20. Ah, that's where it is. So... okay, now over there, behind the turtle. Yeah. Tui has only 17 notes per world, so they're a lot easier to track down and grab. But there's also only 17 of them, so it's like... eh. They're not able to use them as like, leading objects as much, because there's only a few of them. Because in this game, notes can be used to, like, draw the player's attention to places. There we go. All right. That's basically this level done. Now let me just go get the Crocagator get back so I can grab the Jiggy outside the world. Ugh. Okay. Eekum, Bokum. Ugh. Anyway, after that, I think I'm probably going to... After I've cleaned up a few things, I think I'm going to wrap this stream up. Just because, I've been going for almost 3 hours, honestly. You gotta pace yourself with a game like this. Yeah, I know. I think my longest stream was probably my Sonic Adventure 2 stream, where I went for like 7 hours or something. I don't even remember how long it was. I'd have to check the VOD. Yeah. But yeah, I'd say 3 hours is... I usually aim for 2 to 3 hours just because I don't want to exhaust myself. Because nobody wants to watch a tired streamer. Unless, like, that's the gimmick of the stream. Nobody wants to watch a tired streamer. Unless that's the gimmick of the stream. That sounds terrible, Tanky. That sounds terrible. Soma one shot, which was about 8 hours. 24-hour stream went. Okay, Maru, I know you've done 24-hour streams. But you've actually done several 24-hour streams that I remember. But I remember at least one of them, you were fucking miserable the entire time. Well, you were miserable for the last, like, 8 hours. Because, like... Okay, part of the reason you were miserable, if I remember correctly, was because you decided to watch Chaos Head. Which, maybe wasn't the best idea. I don't think this is where I was supposed to go with the crocodile. Oh well. Yeah, this isn't where I was supposed to go. Your butt will tell you and you will know when my boot swings to and fro. Whatever you say, Miss Winky Bunyan. Yeah. Yeah, you were... Yeah, Mar, you were in bad shape when you did that 24-hour stream, I remember. Like, the first half you were fine, but as it went on, you got worse. This was like only a couple years ago, too, if I remember right.
Yo.
Okay. I don't know what I was supposed to do with that power-up then. However, I am gonna grab something. cleaning some stuff up before ending for today. What's this? Nothing. Okay. Oh, I need to go in there, and I needed to break it as Banjo before I could go. Okay, I guess I gotta go get the crocodile again. Okay, I guess I'm gonna go get the croc again. No, you have to go all the way back to Mumbo. It was the first game in the series. Rareware was still figuring things out. There's a lot of quality of life updates in the sequel. And some downgrades, but, you know, it's mixed bag stuff. It won't take that long to go get it again. They did do Donkey Kong 1 through 3. And that was a very different beast of a game. They did do the Donkey Kong Country games, but those were very different beasts. They did use stuff they learned from this game on Donkey Kong 64, though. Because, you know, very similar gameplay all around, for the most part. In fact, the stop and swap thing, there was a suggestion that, from what I've heard, Donkey Kong 64 was also supposed to be involved in stop and swap, which is the legendary unfinished feature that is spoken of in hushed tones and legends, where it was a thing where a bunch of different games would interconnect, and it would unlock, if you basically, it was like a loyalty rewards thing almost, where if you owned all of the stop and swap compatible games, they would unlock stuff in each other. But only this game has its stop and swap feature implemented, because Nintendo told them that stop and swap was not guaranteed to work because of how it worked, which is that it involved rapidly swapping what was in the cartridge slot, and not only was that not guaranteed to work in later revisions of the N64 hardware, because they might use different RAM chips, and therefore they might remain, and therefore the data might remain in RAM for different amounts of time, but also it would encourage people to slam stuff in and out of the cartridge slot perhaps too quickly to be good for the console, and Nintendo didn't want people breaking their N64s by rapidly swapping cartridges or whatever. So yeah, Rareware ended up dropping that feature. It's for the best, I'm sure. Yeah, what could have been is a fascinating topic for discussion, but I think it's for the best that they didn't do that. And yet it still remains as a popular urban legend of what might have been, a popular story among the fan base of this game. Full of strange hoaxes and theories and other such things. If they were going to do it, though, I think a safer way to do it would have been to do what Sega did with Sonic 3 and Knuckles and just have a cartridge with another cartridge slot on top of it. Hello, Cheeto. Cheeto, the spell book you have found. Magic cheats I have for you. Aha! Blue eggs in Sandcastle Floor in Treasure Trove Cove world. Help you it will. Ah. Thanks, Mr. Cheeto. Okay, so I think what that does is it increases the number of eggs you can carry, because right now the limit is 100. So I think if I enter that code, it doubles it to 200. There's a few other ones. So, sort of. So the way this game works with cheats is it will punish you for using them, but it will not punish you for using... There are two types of cheat codes in this game. Well, actually, there's three types of cheat codes in this game. There's legitimate cheats, which are the cheats that the game gives you. Actually, no, there's more than that. So there's cheats that the game gives... There's the cheats that you get from Cheeto. Those are safe to use. The cheats that you get from Cheeto are safe to use. Like, there's no penalty for using them. The cheats that you get from the puzzle minigame are different. The cheats that you get from the puzzle minigame will actually penalize you if you use too many of them. So it's different. Hello, Bruntilda. In a pigsty, a dirty hag. Okay. So yeah, the game punishes you for using the cheats from the minigame, but not for the ones from the spellbook. And that's because there's like some which are safe. I don't know. I don't remember why exactly. I think the ones from the minigame are overpowered is why. Like, instead of just being like simple, like you can increase the number of XYZ you're carrying, they're different. Like, they give you like other abilities that kind of break the game. Except there's one of them that just turns you into a washing machine, and that also breaks the game, but in different ways. Anyway, I'm gonna call it there for tonight. Thank you everybody for showing up. This was fun. Let's save and quit and witness the best cutscene in gaming history. Yes. What are we fighting for? Meanwhile, Mumbo, you traitor! How dare you! Meanwhile, Apparently having all of your beauty drained causes you to turn into Klungo. Yep. Yep, that's all I plan to do tonight. Later, everybody. Have a good night. This is